Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are already in Las Vegas. Could Kenneth Walker III be joining them? Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have a new trade idea from Bleacher Report that is suggesting that the Hawks trade Kenneth Walker III to the Las Vegas Raiders for a reunion with Smith and Carroll. How likely is that? What are my thoughts on it? Let's discuss. Let's begin with this from Mo Motton of Bleacher Report, who writes the following. Raiders head coach Pete Carroll can call his former team and inquire about Kenneth Walker III. Seattle may be willing to move on from the 24-year-old because of his declining production and recent injuries. He's seen a drop-off in his rushing numbers since his 2022 rookie season. The 2022 second-rounder also missed 4 games in his first 2 campaigns in 6 outings last season. Now, I think this makes a ton of sense from the Raiders' perspective of bringing in Kenneth Walker III, a guy that's still a young running back that's only 3 years in, that has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. If I'm Las Vegas, yeah, I'm chomping at the bit at the opportunity to potentially bring in Kenneth Walker III, and he still has a year remaining here on his rookie contract and all. That makes a ton of sense if you're Las Vegas. Seattle, on the other end, it's a different story. Here's more from Bleacher Report. In Walker's absence, Zach Charbonnet has shown he can handle the majority load on the ground. He led the Seahawks in rushing touchdowns, 8, averaged 4.2 yards per carry, and flashed his reliable hands with 42 catches for 340 yards and a touchdown in 2024. As UCLA head coach, Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly coached Charbonnet between 2021 and 2022. Though Seattle may prefer to keep him and trade Walker. Now, I don't think this makes much sense at all for Seattle here, especially in a moment when we show you the trade idea that Bleacher Report is throwing out there to move on from Kenneth Walker. I understand that he has had his struggles to stay healthy. Nobody is denying that one bit. We've seen that in his first 3 seasons in Seattle, even dating back to his rookie season, that he's had those injury issues. But even with that said, I think you all know full and well that Seattle needs all the help that they can get when it comes to depth at this running back position. You go back to the Rashad Penny days, Chris Carson, among others, running backs have had their problems staying healthy here with this Seahawks team. Part of it has to do with the offensive line situation. That's a whole nother story. But with that said, if I'm Seattle here, just because you have one good running back in Zach Charbonnet doesn't mean that you should just go ahead and move on from Kenneth Walker and go all in from Zach Charbonnet. I think, based on what history tells us with this running back position and with the injuries, that you need to have as many running backs as you can to have that strength in numbers, to have that depth. That way, if somebody goes down. We've seen before, too, in this running back room where Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet were both banged up at the same time. I want to maximize on both of them in my building and in my running back stable. Now, here's where it gets ridiculous, folks. Bleacher Report's trade idea is the Seahawks getting a sixth for Kenneth Walker? That's it? Hell no. Not for a former second-round running back that when he's healthy, I think he can be a top 10 back in this league. And even though he's had the injuries and his production has gone down statistically speaking, I think that more has to do with the offensive line. I think he's just as good of a running back, if not better, than he was his rookie campaign when he rushed for over 1,000 yards. Here's the other story of this situation that I think is very important, folks. I think that when you put this trade offer in front of me, as presented by the folks at Bleacher Report here, I would rather, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for John Schneider here, but if I'm in charge, let's say that Seattle is not going to re-sign Kenneth Walker for all intents and purposes. I would rather run him into the ground and get every last ounce of energy out of him and let him walk in free agency than just to settle for a day 3 pick. A 6th-round pick What good does that do anybody? He's on a rookie contract. Might as well get what you can out of him. Potentially replace him with somebody younger on a rookie contract with some fresh legs and go from there. I don't need your 6th-round pick. I'd rather just go ahead and keep Kenneth Walker, figure out what to do next season, play it year by year from that point, and go forward from there. That's how I would do things. We'll see what Seattle thinks. So let's ask you. If you want the Hawks to keep Kenneth Walker, like today's video. If not, if you like the idea of trading him, moving on, comment and tell me why. Get in that comment section. Let us know one way or the other. Like the video to keep him. Comment and tell me if you would like to see Seattle move on from him. Weigh in and let us know. For the best Seahawks coverage around, you got to be subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today. We're bringing you daily videos, 2 and 3 videos a day. We've had a record month here on the channel. You guys have been so awesome. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and being a part of this family here on Seahawks Today. We're closing in on 65,000 subscribers. I would love you to be a part of our family if you're not already here on the channel. Subscribe now for free for daily videos, news and rumors, trades, free agency, draft. We got it all covered here on Seahawks Today. We're live twice a week as well. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. To subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. Let's talk more about K9. Mark, the 2022 second-round pick out of Michigan State, was really good as a rookie. He was named to the Pro Football Writers Association's all-rookie team. And despite the narrative that's being thrown out there by Bleacher Report that you just saw a few moments ago, he has still been this team's leading rusher the last 3 seasons. And I believe, folks, if the offensive line, and that's a big if, they can do their part, and so far it's not looking great when it comes to fixing this offensive line right now, how the offseason has gone, but there's still a lot of time left. If the offensive line can put it together, and Clint Kubiak can see the improvements he's looking for, we know it's going to be more of a run-first offense that they're going to install here in Seattle. And Walker stays healthy. So the two got to come together. The offensive line and Walker stays healthy. I think he can be a star running back in this league. I have no reason to not think otherwise. You look at these statistics here, folks. When he's been healthy, he's been very good. Even last year, which was the worst year of his career, still at 7 touchdowns. 8 the year prior. 9 as a rookie. Over 1,000 yards in 2022. 2023, over 900 yards. We can't give up on Kenneth Walker III just yet. And then there's the premise, the idea that's been thrown out there. Well, you don't really need K9 if you got Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet looked really good last year. I liked what I saw from Zach Charbonnet. But why would you not want to get the most out of both of them? And then they can make each other better and make the workload easier on one another to maximize both of their capabilities. You look at the running back room, folks, this is as good of a running back room as anywhere in the NFL right now. Bar none. K9 and Zach, I like. Kenny McIntosh, I like him too. George Holani's not bad either. This is a good group. You got a good thing going. Just the offensive line, if they can come together, if these guys can stay healthy, watch out. Watch out. Who's the better running back right now? Is it K9 or is it Zach Charbonnet? I'm not going to judge you based on your answer. I just want to know how you feel. Type K9 for Kenneth Walker. Type ZC for Zach Charbonnet. Weigh in that comment section and let us know. Cooper Kupp jerseys on sale now. Free shipping. Chatsports.com/Cup to get yours today. And I got to tell you, I'm excited about having Cooper Kupp here. I know you're excited about having him here. Coming back home to his home state. What better way than to support Cooper Kupp than by wearing his jersey around the beach or all your summer activities over the coming months. Get your jerseys now. Chatsports.com/Cup. Got other Seahawks merchandise at that same link, including Sam Darnold jerseys. And we have free shipping on those, too. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Cup to get yours now. So Zach Charbonnet, the other factor of this equation here. He was picked in 2023, second round out of UCLA. Last 2 seasons, he's been second in rushing yards for Seattle, led this team in touchdowns last season. And there was a lot of people that wanted to give up on Zach Charbonnet too. And then I think the game against the Cardinals was a bit of an eye-opener for some folks. Like, all right, this kid's got some talent to him. And we saw him take a big step up this year. I know that his yards per carry was down slightly from 4.3 to 4.2. But the offensive line was much worse in 2024 compared to 2023. And you see the numbers. The touchdowns, I mean, he was an ATM. He was an automatic touchdown machine. 8 touchdowns, 569 yards off of 135 carries. I think going forward, if you're Seattle when it comes to these two, here's how you should envision this, okay? Hear me out on this, folks. I would think that the discussion of who's the RB1, who's the RB2, and that's a lot of fan talk out there. It doesn't really matter. I think what you really should do is they should be viewed as RB1A and RB1B. They should get the same amount of touches. They should both be on the field together for that matter, and they both should be used in the receiving game where both of them are very good receiving backs. I want both of them on my team. I don't want to move on from either guy, and I want to maximize both their capabilities and run them into the ground. Simple as that. Thanks for joining us here on Seattle Seahawks today for continuing Seahawks coverage. Hit the sub button. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. I'm Tyler Jones. See you next time.